No.
So this is a tease, but
Ooh.
Sleeping 3 is coming.
Ooh,
Oh, okay. I
hey.
was gonna ask. So let me go here real quick before
Hold
you.
on.
All
You
right. All
also
right.
you heard it here, folks, on Check the Candy that we are getting
Yeah,
a
Yeah.
Sleeping
Yeah.
Three,
I
my
Sleeping
am.
3 is
friends.
confirmed.
Let me first off start by saying that these shorts that you've done, it's incredible to me that you could tell such a fun and epic story, and even scary and thriller within 6 minutes. Um, with that being said, is there anything you can lead into, kind of telling us what got you started in this? How'd you do this?
Like the films themselves, or in like the just the filmmaking business.
Well, both. Yeah. So let's start off with
Both.
the films themselves and then filmmaking.
So the funny story of how I got the idea for the first Sleeping movie was at the time I was working at Earl's Kitchen, and I was the morning prep team. So I was up at 6 a.m. I was working typically 7 to 3, 7 to 4. And I'm not a morning guy whatsoever. So I was dead tired by the time I got home. So I would
Mhm.
take a nap most days. And my naps are they're all over the map. One can be 20 minutes, one can be 4 hours. It's
Yeah.
really dependent if I set an alarm or how tired I am. So throughout the summer I did that. So I'd fall asleep and I'd wake up, and it's still bright out, obviously, because it was the middle of summer. But in middle of September, or early September, it starts to get darker earlier. And my parents were out of town. I had the house to myself. So what you see, the first movie was shot at my house. And so that couch that I sleep in the film was where I was sleeping after work this one day. And I fell asleep around like 5 o'clock, and it was totally bright out. So I had no lights on in the house. But when I woke up at around like 8:30, it was pitch black. Like
Yeah.
I didn't have a single light on the house. The sun was down, and I had to have this split moment when I woke up where I was like, "Did I leave any lights on? Did I? Was I?" Because it freaked me out for a bit before I got my bearings. So like that's where like I got the initial idea where it's like, okay, what if guy takes a nap after work, gets dark, but then someone uses that to the advantage to break into his house.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be
So
that's a terrifying concept too, because
exactly.
I feel like that's most vulnerable. Even if you fall asleep at night and wake up at
Yeah.
like 3 in the morning, I feel like you'd be better
Mm-hmm.
off. Like after a nap, you have that weird, your equilibrium's all fucked up and you
Mm-hmm.
don't know where the hell you are for a second, especially if you wake up you fall asleep during the day, wake up at night. It's a weird feeling already, dude.
It is, yeah.
So
Yeah, so yeah.
in the short right there, whenever you do fall asleep, because I kind of noticed this. I don't know if this is how it happened in real life with you when that occurred, but uh the TV was off too. Like, and I've done that before
Hmm.
where I go to sleep, it's daylight, and I wake up and my TV's gone on like it's screensaver, and literally it's pitch fucking black. And
Yeah.
is that the way it really was?
It was Netflix. So it was so like the screen was dark, it was still on, but it was like the are you still watching? So the screen was naturally
Yeah,
darker and
Yeah,
nothing was playing, so it was quiet too. So I was like,
that's so
oh.
scary, dude.
that
And
is.
the way you filmed that too, like it just that pan back, I fucking loved it. It was brilliant.
Yeah, dude, they're like I was telling Taylor this earlier. It's like a indie horror masterclass in like suspense for like because like it's so good to watch those short films where they are like 6 to 10 minutes because and like it's all feels like one scene from a movie almost
Hmm.
where there's not like I've done a short film before where a lot happens within like 17 minutes, but like yours is like it feels like that one scene. It almost, even though the camera does cut and stuff like that, it still feels like it's all like one thing. And like it
Hmm.
was suspenseful, dude. It was like I was like, oh shit, this is like, I'm kind of like, yeah, what's gonna happen? Like I've been watching, I was like, damn, this is really good, dude.
Yeah, yeah. I want to know what what made you want to go with like a pretty much speechless film for both of them, you know?
Yeah. So for me, like horror has always been the visual to me. Like obviously film needs dialogue, you need story and all that stuff, but the advantage of a short is that you don't really need that much. You can do much more visual storytelling in a shorter span of time without the dialogue. And I've always been more like for my directing because I'm an actor first. That's like what I went to school for. That's like my passion. I've been acting since I was 5 years old. And then while along the way, I picked up directing because I love to watch movies and I love being involved in every aspect of the filmmaking process. So, but like, so I pick up from like, so like I watch Stanley Kubrick movies. I watch Christopher Nolan. I watch Alfred Hitchcock is one of the big ones too. Like I love Psycho. I love The Birds. And those are just where I see that, where I like, I get this visual representation. I always think in my mind, I'm like, all right, what would one of the masters do in this situation? All right, he has this shot set up. Would he use it for nothing? Would he take it away? Would he let it be droned on by nothing, by visuals, by dialogue? And for this story, I thought it was more the visual and the suspense. So that's why after he wakes up, that first little scare where he turns on the light and the guy's standing behind him, that was purely for the audience to be like, okay, we know someone's in the house already. And then I don't show anybody for the next couple minutes because I'm just like, I just want to show the darkness. Like I have those wide takes. I had the shot from outside looking into the kitchen window where I kind of wanted there to be these long shots of nothing to be like, where is it coming? Because I'm paraphrasing it here. I don't have the quote memorized completely, but it's from Alfred Hitchcock where it's like, there is no horror in the bang, only the lead up to it.
True. True.
I'm paraphrasing that really bad. Look up that quote to get the proper one, but that was the gist of the quote that I took to heart.
And that's true. And that's true because the jump scare isn't always it's never as good, is it? Like it's always that lead up, like, okay, what's gonna happen? What's cool about your two films too is like, especially that shot that you have where it's outside of the kitchen window was very like, felt like The Strangers almost.
Yeah.
Where like the whole movie, both the films kind of do, where like when it's dark and that you don't show anything for a certain amount of time, you're looking in the background like, okay, is there going to be something where obviously something's going to happen? Where's it going to be? Where's it going to be? Where's it going to be? And then obviously the ending, especially the first one, like 2 out of the 3 people, you're like, oh shit, okay, I didn't see that coming. You know what I mean? It was really perfect. It was just a really cool way to look at suspense. Cause like, I feel like as a filmmaker, I have a tough time with suspense. Like I've always been like, either cheap gore, or I haven't really been like a, jump scare guy or have that thrill in any of my movies too much. So like to see that is, I feel like I learned something from watching them, which is cool.
Yeah, I thought the exact same thing because to see that right there done with no words, it's just there. This is the image it's just brilliant. You did a really good job. I was wanting to ask you as well, those masks, did you just get them right off the shelf? Did you modify them? What'd you do?
Actually, yeah, again, that was the funny thing. I love the fact that Spirit Halloween opens at the beginning of September now because everyone's just so hyped up for Halloween. We need 2 months to buy shit.
Yeah.
And no, literally, it was just I was there. I was like one of the early birds. Showed up, was looking at the good stuff, and I saw them. I was just like, these could come in handy. Like I don't know what yet. I hadn't written the script. I hadn't come up with the idea yet. But I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna stock up on a few things. So I bought a couple other mats besides the one you saw. I bought like a bunch of other props and stuff. And then when it came to writing the script, and when I had the script ready, and it was like, okay, do I want to show the faces? And I'm like, yeah, it's scary to see the faces, but at the same time, like, if we're doing like looking in the dark, like inherently it's scarier to see a man in a mask than just a man.
Right.
So I was like, all right, we're going with the mask. We're going to use this. And then that's when Sleeping 2 came into play too. Was then my buddy had that other mask, the fourth one and the second one. And I was just like, oh, let's use it. I like it. It's creepy.
Yeah,
before
Hell
you
yeah.
you talking about the old man look one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one
Yeah.
was dope. I love
Yeah,
that
that
one.
one was cool.
Yeah.
Um, so did you write them both at the same time, or was it kind of like, because I think John and I both have done exactly what you just said. We just kind of pick up the shit that we think, oh, we could possibly do something with this. But like after you
Mhm.
got it, did you went ahead go ahead and write both Sleeping and Sleeping Two at the same time, or did you write one prior to the like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I never thought I was gonna make a sequel to it. Like I made it as a standalone originally, just like we're doing Sleeping, and then because before Sleeping, my channel and like my views were pretty mundane. Like I had a few hundred views on my other short films from before it, and I had maybe around like 50 to 60 subscribers. So like I was it was still slowly growing, but then something with Sleeping just I don't know, the algorithm helped me out, but
Yeah.
like the views just like I was at 100,000 views in like 2 months. It was like, what is this? And now it's currently over 1 million, which like I'm
Yeah.
mind blown. I never when we were making it, my buddies and I, we just wanted to make it because we're it's film, it's fun. If it blows up, it blows up. That's great. So like the fact that it has blown up, we're like, holy. So and actually, so how we came around, I after the big success of that, I kind of was thinking like, how can I follow this up? Like I think that'd be cool to see the follow up to it. But what actually happened was at Halloween last year in 2022, um, so last summer I did the Halloween short film with Michael Myers. So I have that mask, but then I also have a Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I have Leatherface. I have the Scream mask. I have the Jason mask and all these other like horror icons. So I wrote a script originally. It was called a Halloween prank, where it was literally Sleeping Two, but with the like classic slasher killer. So it was like Michael, Jason, Ghostface, and all them. But then the my buddy who helps me a lot with my films, he was really busy at the time, and it was his house that we shot Sleeping Two at, and so we couldn't do it. And I was like, oh, this really sucks. I wanted to do this film, but then I was looking over the script and I was thinking, this works actually very perfectly for the sleep. Like it fits into that line. So I had to rewrite the script a bit so that it was no longer a prank where it's just like, take the
Yeah.
mask off, gotcha. And like it was
Right.
more like more horror ending than that. So then it was just like, then we refurbished it because it was like the middle of December. And I was like, let's make a Christmas theme. Like, let's add that theme to it. So then, and then that was more for like the cinematography because then we can have, the red and green lights. We can add a
Right.
little bit of Christmas music to add the creep factor to it and stuff. And then it was fun to make a winter film, which
That
being in
that's
Canada, we can make.
yeah,
Correct. Correct.
that's what I was
Yeah.
gonna ask you too. Like how like what made you want to go with Christmas? Because I adore Christmas horrors. They're fucking great. And this is gonna be forever one that I put on. Like it's so good. It's crazy how well you told these stories in such a short amount of time, man.
Yeah, it's
Thank
awesome,
you.
dude.
Yeah, what's so a really funny story actually about that. So in Saskatchewan, we get really bad winters. Like we get cold winters. I know you guys are American, so you go by Fahrenheit, and I've been getting my conversions better. So like we shot it in 2 nights, and it was really funny because so the first night it was around minus 35 Celsius. So I
God.
think that's probably around like minus 20 Fahrenheit, give or take, somewhere in that vicinity. And I go to my buddy Connor, who played the victim in the second one, and I told him like, remember, so like you're gonna have to run outside. You're not gonna be able to wear a jacket because like you just woke up. You're like, there's no chance to throw a jacket on while we go out. So I was like, we'll check the weather, and it was supposed to be a little warmer the second night. So I was like, all right, do you want to just get it over with tonight, or do you want to do it tomorrow night? And he said, we'll do it tomorrow night. Well, the weather was wrong, and it ended up being minus 50
Oh my
the
God.
second
Whew.
night, and
He
he was
didn't have
not
shoes
happy.
on, right?
We hid that. I think we hid that he had beige shoes,
Oh,
so
it
he was
looks like
able
he's
to.
barefoot.
I
That was
think
good. That was good.
I think he has socks on or he has shoes. I actually can't remember now off the top of my head, but like I made him run outside like 3 or 4 times to
That's
deal with
funny.
that shit. It's minus 50, no jacket on, just his sweats and t-shirt.
Yeah.
And I felt so bad. I was like, just one more take, bud. Just one more take.
Damn, that's
That's
crazy, man.
hilarious.
Yeah,
We
we
came
get pretty.
inside and
I
yeah.
get pretty cold fucking winters here too, man. We hit -30 Fahrenheit. I don't know what that is Celsius, but
I think that's probably. I think 42 is where Fahrenheit and Celsius meet,
oh,
if
okay.
I'm not mistaken. So pretty much the same. Like yeah,
Yeah,
very cold in
yeah,
Maine too. Yeah.
yeah. We're well, we get mistaken for Canada all the time as well. We're basically we're on your border anyway. So
Yeah, exactly.
I know how the Great White North is, my friend.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I wish.
I've always wanted to do a winter horror, man. That'd be super cool. My first short film we filmed in winter, but it was inside, so it really wasn't a big deal.
Yeah.
But I've always wanted to do it, but it's like, man, outside. Whew.
I want to do I've had this thought forever, and I want to do a fucking Texas Chainsaw Massacre in the winter horror,
That
like
would be
short,
interesting.
because Texas is,
Yeah.
that big dip has been like coming down and just destroying Texas sometimes during the winter.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
ice and cold, and
Yeah.
like just picture that fucking like snow, like snow in Texas, and it's a
hmm
Texas horror film,
Well, yeah, I feel like you'd have to do gore too, because like the
yeah,
contrast of white snow with blood is
With the
just
red. Yeah, exactly. There's
just
not really
beautiful.
many horrors that take place in the winter, so like it's a
No.
pretty rare thing to see. So, but I understand it completely. Shooting in the winter can be, depending where you are. Like if you're shooting in I did shoot one of my shorts in Ontario in February, but the thing is in Toronto, it's cool, but like it's not nearly as cold as it is in Saskatchewan. So we could get away with some of that. But like, yeah, like if we want to do like multiple night shoots, there's the risk of it could be cold or it could be cold.
Cold,
So
like fucking
it's
bone chilling.
yeah, yeah, where you
what?
like you need your thick jacket to try and
Yeah,
stay
plus
warm
it's like it takes a toll on the actors and crew, and it takes a
on the
toll
equipment
on
as
your
well.
equipment, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, dude. It's like your
yeah.
battery's gonna drain immediately. You gotta have like 10 batteries on hand. Like it's
Yeah.
Yeah.
crazy.
Oh my God.
So
Yeah. It's just one of those things.
you acted in the first one, right?
Yes.
All right, that was you the whole time. I thought so. And then the second one is did you say that was your friend?
Yeah. That was my buddy. So actually, um, in Sleeping One and Two, none of the people that you see on screen, aside from me, are actually like actors. They're
Okay.
just my buddies, and I say, "Do you
Right.
want to be in my film?" And they're like, "Sure."
Yeah, that's
Okay.
awesome.
Cool. Yeah, that's
It's
the way it
good to
goes.
have people. Yeah, it's when you're starting out, especially, or if you don't have a crew or you don't have like a budget
Yeah.
to do anything, that's kind of what you go with, and then you
Yeah.
work with what you have. But it's always good to have a support system like that.
Mhm.
hmm However, I was in Sleeping Two though.
What part? Were you the mask?
were you the old man?
No,
Uh,
No.
no.
so this is a tease, but
Ooh.
Sleeping Three is coming.
Ooh,
Oh, okay. I
hey.
was gonna ask. So let me go here real quick before
Hold
you.
All
on.
right.
You
All
also
right.
you heard it here, folks, on Check the Candy that we are getting
Yeah.
a
Yes,
sleeping
Yeah.
three,
I
my
Sleeping
am.
Three is
friends.
confirmed.
Yeah,
I'm so
nice.
pumped about this. So my question. This is my end question too. So after this, I have nothing
Okay.
else. But um,
All right.
I was wanting to know. So pretty much, I was gonna say, hey, do you know if you're gonna do another one? Because what about the origin story? Why are they there? Something like
Mhm.
that. Can you tell us if it's along those lines or if it's just another kind of what you got going on right now?
So, one, the I wanted it to progress in some way where we see it from a slightly different perspective. So it's not an origin story. It is a follow up. It is still a sequel, but there is a revelation that explains it ties all three together.
Okay.
And so the first one is more from the audience perspective. You have no idea what's going on here. You just see a title that says sleeping. That can mean literally anything. You have no idea. You finish the first one, okay, it was a home invasion. The second one you go in, that's more the from the person's point of view, from the character of the victim. Because we know what's happening. Like we already know, okay, we're looking around the corners, we know there's gonna be guys here. But it was more from his perspective of him trying to figure out what's going on. He's getting chased around and then he's cornered at the end. The third one is from the point of view of the killers.
Ooh,
Oh yeah.
interesting.
I like it. I
So
like it.
from their perspective, so
Is
that's
it?
the
Nice.
most I'm gonna give away.
That's
Nice.
fine. That's perfect. That's all I need. So are you
Yeah.
thinking it's going to be around 6, 7 minutes, or are you going to go a little
I think
longer?
this one will be slightly longer. I think this one will probably clock in around 8 or 9.
Nice.
Okay.
It'll be short and compacted, but it's a little bit of a longer script, and there's a couple of scenes that need to be not necessarily drawn out, but like they're like a little bit of a longer scene that needs to be there to explain things. And again, with mostly visual storytelling, like there's I think 2 lines of dialogue in the whole thing.
Okay.
Straight
Okay.
to the point. Love it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like this, man. I'm a huge fan of these. I actually stumbled across these.
Yeah, Taylor was like, dude, you gotta check these out. Fucking get on
Yeah,
YouTube, check these out, dude.
I think I tagged you, and it's been a week or two. It's been a little bit since I watched them, but I was just kind of like, kind of want to thumb through. I never get on YouTube. I never
Yeah.
get on YouTube, and I just typed in, I think it was horror shorts, and yours and a couple other ones popped up, and then see what grabs me because I'm very ADD. It's if I see something that's 15 minutes, I'm gonna watch it, but I might get on my phone during that time, you know.
Yeah.
So like, but if I see something that's 6 or 8, 9, 10 minutes, like fuck yeah, I'm gonna grab that shit. And I'm gonna watch it, and I did, dude. The mask though, like the mask really brought me in. Like I was just like, this is such a cool mask, and I feel like I've seen now. You said you got it at Spirit.
Yeah. Spirit Halloween.
Yeah, from
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
first one, because that closet peek, man, right there, like I
Beautiful.
was just like, this is great. Then I love that opening of the door and then that mask, and you're just like, oh, this is well
Yeah.
done, sir. Well
All
done.
all super
Thank you.
rad for sure, dude.
But yes, we are very excited about three, man. Do you think you might write a four, or is this just
We'll see. Right now, I only have 3 planned, but I did make the joke with my one friend saying, "Let's Friday the 13th this bitch. Let's
Yeah.
just keep pumping them out.
yeah, you got to get one in
Sleeping
space.
in space. Yeah,
You should get 3 to be like do 3, whatever you're gonna do for 3, and then have 4 just be like a fucking balls to the wall gore fest and just out of
yeah.
out of left field, like just ridiculous. That'd be
Get a real
awesome.
budget for the gore effect.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
Have you
I think I think you definitely have an opportunity to do an origin story.
Yeah, I
I
believe
don't I
so.
don't know how you do this because without speaking, because I like what you're doing right there. Like
Mhm.
I like that aspect of it, but I think you have a huge opportunity right there as well for just like a spin off of three.
I think so too, and I've been kind of racking my mind thinking about how I could possibly do it because with the revelation in 3, it definitely opens the door for how it all started.
Mhm.
Okay.
100%. Like when you see like it puts the pieces together of like more the why question of like why they're doing this, and it doesn't give all the answers, but like it definitely like it paints a better picture than what we see in the first 2. So it definitely opens the door for an origin. And if I have an idea that I think could benefit it and not do a bad
Yeah. Yeah, do damage.
yeah. So it's more if I can think of a good way to do it without trying to add too much or something like that. Because there's some origin ones where it just like completely
Yeah.
like ruins the later
Right.
ones. So I don't want to risk that unless I have something that I
Yeah.
truly believe will work.
That's
Yeah.
smart. Smart thinking.
Yeah, especially
Um,
if you hear from fans that are like, why are they doing it? I want to know so bad. You know what I mean? Like, is
Yeah.
it, you weigh the options, you're like, as a filmmaker, you're like, is it better to give them what they want, or
Mhm.
is it better to leave them guessing? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
yeah.
Like you get that a lot. And sometimes people, it's like, be careful what you wish for, because you might
Yeah.
not like what you get, and it taints a little bit of the rest of the story. Like I got that with
Mhm.
like the Black Phone movie. I really liked the Black
Yes.
Phone, and they don't explain like the grabber very much, which is
Mhm.
awesome. Like I was like, why is he doing this? Like why? Like there's more to this story. Like why aren't they telling
Yeah.
it? Then I was like, whoa, slow your roll. Maybe I don't need to know. Maybe it's better if I
Yeah.
don't know, right? Like
Yeah.
maybe
Mhm.
it's better as a one-off and I don't understand why he's doing what he's doing. Like, because I came out of the theater like all jacked up about it, and like I felt like I was mad, but then I was like, wait, you're just like excited. It did its job, right? Like leave it at that. So
Yeah.
it can definitely be a tough call.
100%. Yeah.
Black Phone's so fucking good.
It was
like
very good. I should watch that one again. I haven't watched that since it came out. So
yeah, either I saw it that one time and I was like, oh, I really liked it, and I was like calling for that second one. And I was like, nah, you know what? Maybe not. Just don't do it.
No,
You know?
no, I don't. Yeah, I didn't watch it in theaters. I was kind of like, I don't go to theaters much. I was real very iffy about it to begin with, but I watched it and I
Mhm.
was blown away, dude. I was so
Yeah,
sucked in. I
such
was
a
like,
cool
this is
story,
really
dude.
good, and I don't want there to be another one. No,
Yeah,
I think it's like what was that? Don't Breathe. I thought Don't Breathe was good, and then they're like a part two, and I'm
second one.
like, I don't
I didn't
care.
even watch the second
I
one because
I haven't either. Like I don't care to see a part
it
two.
looks it looks like they're trying to make the old man the anti-hero in
Yeah,
the second one. Like it's more action packed than it is horror suspense. And it's like, well, you already established in the first one that this guy's like really like he should not be someone to root for.
right.
Yeah,
So like
yeah.
why would you try to like come from that aspect? I could be completely wrong. Maybe like the advertisement was completely wrong on it, but like from what I saw of the trailers, that's what it was telling me. And I was like, I don't know. I don't think I want that.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, like like you guys both said. Did you see it, John?
What, the second one?
Yeah,
No, I was like, I don't want to. I
that's
wasn't like
strange.
I wasn't a huge fan of the first one. Like I liked it, but I wasn't like I don't know. I wasn't like the concept was really cool, but it just wasn't like my type of flick.
Well, there's
yeah.
Uh,
you have things like that right there, and then with like a Quiet Place. I didn't want a
Hmm.
part two of that, but I end up really liking the part two as well. But
Hmm.
it's a hit or miss. But like it could be fucking fantastic. Maybe we need to watch it. Who knows?
yeah, that one.
I
Don't.
did see a Quiet Place Part Two, and a Part Two was really good.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily know if I think it needs a third.
Nah.
I I feel like they've kind of like established well enough in that story, and like yeah, personally, yeah, I don't think I thought the second one was necessary. After the first one, I was like, okay, I could definitely like see more of this world, where they
Right.
go from here. Now that they have the baby to deal with, like it's not just dealing with the birthing process. It's now okay, we got a baby who's going to be crying.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
oh crap. So like definitely we need that follow up. But after how they resolved the second one, I don't think they need a third personally.
No.
Yeah, and
No,
I
I
think they were what they were going to do for the third was just the first day that they kind of touched on in the second one. I think is what they were going to
Yeah.
do. So kind of stuff you've already really seen.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but hey, one more question. So what do you use for as far as filming? Did you guys just do phones or did you do DSLR or
Yeah, I have a DSLR camera. I have a
nice?
Canon Rebel T7i. I bought that
Right
one
here,
back when
brother.
I was. You
Found
got
it.
the same?
Ding.
Hell yeah.
That's what I used.
Um, I got that one when I was still in school actually, because we at my school we used the T6i.
Mhm.
And when I was looking, it was at Christmas time, and I went on Boxing Day, and it was like I think it was like 1,000 for the camera and a lens and a bag, and I was like, all right, we're getting it. Taught myself how to properly use it and all that stuff, but I am looking to get upgrade a bit because
Yeah.
the one thing about the Canons that bothers me, especially since I am dark horror, is the
Right.
ISO
Dude, it's
is not the
tough.
greatest. It can get pretty
Absolutely.
grady sometimes, and like
Absolutely. I had
so.
that problem so bad, man. I actually did all I have a feature film coming out on the 26th and
Really? Okay.
it was all day for night because it's mostly based in the woods.
Mhm.
So
Ooh.
I'm decent like at color grading and stuff. So like
Yeah.
I chose to go the day for night color grading route instead of actually filming at night because outside was
Yeah.
just I mean, it was brutal with that camera,
You
dude.
have to
Like
have so much light
yeah, and
to like
I
pick
didn't
it
have the
up and
budget.
stuff.
I had a $3,000 budget and I just didn't
Hmm.
have I have two decent lights, but like not enough to even if you were gonna film at the
Yeah.
dead of night to even make it worth it.
In the woods, 100%. Yeah,
Yeah.
where you like don't have like you'd have to like set up a whole rig to imitate the moonlight and stuff. That would just be
Right.
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to get. We've talked to some pretty heavy hitters as far as like independent filmmakers go. We had Vincent DeSanti on here who does the Never Hike Alone
Yes,
movies.
that's awesome. I loved those movies. They were
Yeah,
so
dude,
good.
you should check out that episode because I kind of geeked out a little bit on him because I was like,
I
because
will 100%.
I didn't really know like how I figured it was just blast a bunch of light on everything and then kind of color grade it and make it the way you want. And
Hmm.
he's like, what are you shooting with, a DSLR? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, it's not your fault. He's like, it's just your equipment. He's like, you just don't have the
Yeah.
necessary budget to make it worth it, because he's like, yeah, we blasted. I mean, we had lights hanging, and he's like, we basically had one massive light that was coming down like off of trees and stuff. And he's like,
Hmm.
but we also shot with a red like Raptor camera. Like they were like, and the
Yeah.
ISO is unbelievable. Like you could shoot at the dead of night and it would be insane. And
Yeah,
he's like, it's
exactly.
not anything that you're gonna do better. It's like at that point, it's just your budget. You just can't handle it. You know what I mean?
100%. Yeah. And I'm looking to upgrade my camera too because speaking of features, I have a script for a feature that I am trying to get into production.
Oh, nice.
Probably not for this year because it's I feel like it's not that the script really needs work. Like you can use some tweaks here and there, but I need to get more stuff like ready. Like this is, I won't lie, I think it's a little bit ambitious. Like this is a pretty big story that has quite a few places, quite a few characters, and
Mm-hmm.
so I think it's more. I've saved up a lot of money already. But I'm hoping to look for getting a grant.
Yep.
But yeah, like locations is a big thing too. I have a lot of locations secured actually, which is nice. But like um yeah, like I want to have one of those cameras where like because there are some shots that I'm very proud of from both the Sleeping Movies and all my other films that I've done with my Canon. But there's also a lot of shots where I'm just like, oh, why couldn't I just have a slightly just
Right.
get that crisp look, get that better like the lighting looking a bit better in the colors, but like
Yeah.
yeah, so I just want to get that camera that so like when I do a feature and stuff, I can just get that.
How long is that feature you have? What do you think?
I'm the script is 91 pages, so
So it'd be pretty long. Be like an hour and a half
probably
at least.
I'd probably hour 40 I'd say would
Yeah.
be a rough guess for how
Do
Yeah.
you
I
long
think,
it'll
I
be.
think,
do
I
you have
think,
a lot of go ahead, John, I'm sorry.
I think mine was 47 pages, and we shot a
Hmm.
little bit of, we had a lot of like location shots and stuff like that kind of pushed it to an hour.
Hmm.
But yeah, so I'd say if you had that much, you're looking at like an hour and a half, an hour and 40 if you don't cut anything, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you have friends gonna act in this one, or do you have like a idea of like people you're like, I know these people, I want them to do it kind of deal?
And that's the problem with being in Saskatchewan is the fact. So the school I went to was Toronto Film School. So I was in Toronto for a couple of years, met a lot of friends there through my school and through meeting people through teachers and all and the program and stuff. So I have a lot of friends in Toronto who like I kind of write parts for. It's just more bringing them over to Saskatchewan to do it because I have a lot of friends here who like are like Saskatchewan and Regina especially is more theater. Like I have a lot of theater actor friends, but theater and film acting are
Totally
very
different.
like I can work with it, but like it's something you basically like I have to like basically give them acting courses
Mm.
Yeah.
to like get them to like bring it because like um as one of my teachers said this and I take it to heart very great because I still love acting on stage. Like I love doing stage shows. But like when you're acting in theater, you're acting for all of this. You're acting for as my one teacher always said, it was you're not acting for your parents in the front row. You're acting for the old grandma in the back with her hearing aids turned down. Like
Right,
so you
right.
want to project, you want to show off like not show off, but like you
Overemphasize everything.
yeah, you have to like really make sure everyone understands. Whereas when you're acting for film, you're
Hmm.
acting for this. Like you're
Right.
Yeah.
just right, you're right here. So like there's a very different method to that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So
The littlest like movement or like the way you flip your hair could make a difference in a scene. Like it's like so interesting to think about
Mhm.
that. Yeah, it's a
100%.
good
And
point.
that's why I think acting is just such an interesting career
Definitely.
because there's and it all depends on the character too. Like
Mhm.
a good actor with a different character, like it just can create a million stories.
Yeah,
And
for
that's what I love
sure.
What
about it. So
what do you prefer? Do you prefer acting over directing?
I love directing. I love having that control of the camera. I love
Yeah.
having that control of the shot.
And you could
But
always be
I
in it
just
too.
exactly like well, Christopher Nolan always has said that he was like I write my scripts for me to direct them because no one's
Yeah.
gonna, especially at starting, no one's gonna write you a script to direct. So that's also where I write parts for myself and direct parts for myself, because like, all right, how can I make this performance even better using the camera and stuff like that. So like but I'd have to say I do like acting. Like there's just something about like reading a character, learning their backstory, learning their motivations, doing all these little intricate things, and then not only do you have to do this all to yourself, but then your scene partner or your fellow actors, they're doing their whole thing, and then when it all collides, you have to make it all compatible. So like you might have to change a couple things based on how they perform. So like, and that's what I love too, is like, and depending on the direction too, like a scene can go a million different ways based on one redirect to just one person can change the whole aspect of the scene. And that's, I just love that aspect of it. So I love directing, but I have to say acting is number one for me. I love acting.
Yeah.
Okay.
The thing I love about directing is kind of the same thing where if you were, I've never really had, I haven't had any actors in my, I had one girl in this new movie that has done a few film scenes, but I don't know if I would necessarily call her an actor. But it seems that it would be fun as a director to have real actors where you can lean into their abilities.
Yeah.
And be like, oh wow, I wrote the script and I wrote this scene this way, but like the way they act, we could probably pull this off and lean into whatever they're good at. So it really all collides. And I was, the last couple episodes I've been talking about this where I really do feel like we're seeing in the horror genre, especially, people from different parts of a crew and movie and production becoming directors, actors, special effects guys, all these different people that didn't necessarily get in the game to be directors, but became them because they understand the other aspects of the crew and the production. It's pretty awesome to see.
Yeah, I love the horror genre, like the tight knit families that come from it. Like it's so, like you look at there's so many examples. Like you look at the Saw movies. Like I think the director from like 3 and 4 was the editor, and then like 5 was like one of the production assistants became the director, and all like it's just like this whole thing. Same thing with Friday the 13th and all these other ones. And then like you look at something like Halloween, where like Jamie Lee Curtis, her first major role in a film was like Halloween back in '78, and now she's like huge producer on the new trilogy and stuff like that. Like there's just the connections that grow from it.
Yeah,
I love the understand horror community is great,
and they understand the stories too. So when you get a franchise like that, it's good to keep those people around as much as possible.
Oh yeah,
definitely.
Awesome. How are we doing, Taylor, on time?
We have got about a minute left.
Cool.
I want to know real quick, what inspired you to write these, like film wise? What films did you go off of to kind of create what you created with Sleeping and Sleeping 2?
Ooh, that could be a very long list, because like I take from every single movie that I watch, but I think the main ones for the first one, at least, The Shining is a big one. That's my favorite horror movie of all time. That one was a lot of those shots, like kind of like Kubrick and Wes Anderson, those symmetrical shots. I always try to implement those into my movies, so I always love that look. And then The Conjuring was another one, like that. The clap jump scare is still, in my opinion, the greatest jump scare in the history of horror. Like I can do a whole thesis, like a whole like essay on that, and that's what I kind of wanted the whole film to be. Like I wanted the film to feel like that scene from The Conjuring, where like it feels like the whole thing is building up to the jump scare. So like those are, I said, I could list off. We could be here another 50 minutes just on the movies that inspired me, but like those I think are like the main ones. The Shining and The Conjuring are like the 2 biggest ones.
Nice. Did you ever see the short film Lights Out?
Yes, the original before the movie. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So Sleeping, the first one, felt like that to me a lot, where it wasn't the same story, obviously, but it was like when you're showing the lamps turning on, off, and then him turning it back on, I was like, ooh, this has like a Lights Out vibe. Like I was like, okay, this is cool. Then obviously you went a completely different way with it, but it reminded me a lot of that as well. What I also liked about both of them, and I don't think this was planned, but the color of the house in the first one, green, and then the color of the second one, all solid colors. Like as far as like, it just looked cool on camera, like just something I caught, and I was like, it just looks badass on camera, really. But I liked that as well.
Yeah, it just worked out. My house and my friend's house have like nice prime colors.
Yeah, it just looked good, like that dark, that darkish, like I don't know what I would call it, that type of green though. It just looked good on
Yeah.
camera with it
Like
being
it's more of like
dark
an
too.
aqua green. Yeah.
Yeah, and it just kind of stood out in the darkness a little bit, which was cool. So
Yeah.
that was
Well,
badass as well.
when do you think we can see part 3?
So actually, we were originally supposed to shoot a scene tonight,
Oh wow.
actually, but unfortunately, it is raining really hard right now in Regina, and the scene we were supposed to shoot tonight was outdoors.
Oh
So
man.
we
Okay.
are. I talked to my guys, and they're like, "Are you guys okay with postponing?" And they're like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Okay."
Cool.
So we want a clear night because there's gonna another little spoiler. There's gonna be a little more action in this one.
Nice.
Not a lot. It's not gonna turn into a whole thing, but like there are some stunts, light stunts that need to be on the ground outdoors. So
Gotcha.
Okay. All
don't
right.
want them
Well,
to get all drenched on the grass.
Well, let's make sure we get you back in after you
yes.
either when it's coming out so we can promote it with you or after. Either one, whatever suits you best
100%.
to promote
Definitely.
it.
Love
And
to be back on. Thank you for having me.
everybody subscribe. Tell us your YouTube so
Yeah.
everybody knows.
YouTube is at Boychuk Productions, and same thing with Instagram. Find me there. And yeah, that's basically I need to build on that. I need to make like a Facebook and a Twitter.
Yeah,
There we go. There we go.
Get it going. Get it going.
Instagram, I feel like is the biggest.
Yeah, I think
Absolutely.
so.
Is the
Yeah.
biggest. So like, I think if you build right there, you're gonna
Mhm.
build
Mhm.
not only your YouTube is outrageous right now, anyways. But like, if you build on Instagram, you're gonna just it just enhances it, man. That's how I find.
Yeah,
Like, if I
exactly.
can't find you on Instagram, that's it. I'm fucking finished. Like, I don't go anywhere else. But
That's fair.
is there anything else besides Sleeping 3 that you're working on that you want to say, hey, this is what I'm doing?
I did a film last month that I am currently editing right now. We do need to shoot an additional scene for it, but like there's that film, and then I have 2 other scripts that I want to get done this year. I've been lacking in making films the last 2 years. I went from 5 to 3 to 2. This year I want to get a few more made because I have more free time this fall. So look,
Okay.
I'm hoping for 4 this year. So keep your
Awesome.
eyes open.
All right. So here's the thing. We're gonna make sure your Instagram is up to date with everything you're doing. Right? Right? We agree with that?
Mhm.
And then we're gonna make sure everybody's subscribed to YouTube so that way you can make sure you get this shit on on tap. Ass on tap.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, make sure everybody goes watch the first Sleeping short film, over 1 million views right now on YouTube. Check that out.
Yeah.
Let's get Sleeping 2 up to that as well. Really appreciate you coming on, man, and just sharing a little bit of insight on your short films and
Yeah.
just being a filmmaker in general.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me. That was such a great surprise to just be like, hey, you want to come on the podcast? Like 100%, yes.
Yeah, man.
Talk about movies. I can do this all day.
Hell yeah, dude. So we'll definitely have you back, man. We appreciate it.
Would
All right,
love
man.
to. Thank you.
All
Hey,
right,
thank
man.